Right. Now, the people.
Yeah, because I would send it out to
Play that barn was still there. But I don't think they own that. I think they used it there. And then he built that house and I never heard of what his wife wanted. I didn't know they didn't move into it. That's all I know. And he sold it after he built it. And they bought it. Well, it's kind of what I'm doing. I mean, I'm putting all that on Facebook. Hopefully people can save it. Now, me and Mark are still working on that book of all my stories, but it's got a lot of that in it, but it wouldn't have like what I put up about the house yet. Well, I mean, I'm kind of telling the family story. And just like I put up, I'm not doing that for the world. I'm doing that for y'all. I mean, and I have now completed all of my damn old photographs, putting names on. There's a bunch from the Howell family. I've got stuff that Jack Howell sent. After Jack died, his daughter sent me stuff. And I've got the original this size photograph of probably 30 or 40 people. The little hardback like they did in the early 1900s. And I have those in order, and I know they're all the Howell family. And I may can match it up from that family picture I've got. It's got all the brothers. I may can look at those and match it up. I don't know. But that house down that T.F. Howell lived in, when it owned Howell Cartersville. If you go from Kingston to Rome, when you first pull in, you get into, you go through the bypass, and then you go in, head toward town, and Cartersville, on the right, it's a huge. Now there's a house on the left before you get there that's got a big pond. Well, that was one of my relatives that left there. That was on the Berry. That was the Berry. Been my great. Been my grandfather's aunt lived in that house. I've been a little child. We went there one time. But if you go past there, then on the right, the road that splits off, that goes over to the old Calvary. Right there, it's on. Hell, it's probably maybe 100 acres. House, slate, two-story house.
One of my patients, he said he was in traffic.
And well, the Ledbetter, a very wealthy family, developer, one who did the Kroger and all that. The Ledbetter was doing all that. They owned that house. But that's where T.F. Howell lived. But he dropped dead on his birthday, 50 years old. And then there was a big lawsuit between that family that I went over years ago in probate court and found all these written records of this lawsuit. When T.F. Howell died, his widow sued the estate of my of her mother when she died. She left the barn, the house, and all that. The two of them, 12 children. One of them being my great grandfather. And so she filed a lawsuit against the will. For some reason, my grandfather, Russell Berry, who would have been the son-in-law of Charles Russell, testified in that hearing. And I hand-wrote what his testimony was back before you could take pictures and all that in the flood. But I found some stuff on the ancestors about that law. The result, she had the will thrown out, and then they sold the estate. And then I just found this out last week. When she got the will thrown out, apparently my grandfather, John Marshall Bailey, had loaned my great-great-grandmother Carmelia Howard $15,000 on that farm. And he foreclosed it, sold it on the courthouse steps after she died.
It's pretty high.
So I had a very suing the Howells, and the Howells also sued each other. And then John Howell apparently was destitute, and he had a daughter, T.F. Howell. His niece is the only one that would have in the family that would have anything to do with it. She took care of him in his old age, and apparently was living in a hotel in Center, Alabama when he died. And she was paying for it.
Both sides. But the traffic.
It's always crazy. But you know,
Town on city this
that
side. Should be a
George
bank.
Washington Howell
Service
that owned the bar. He had a party interest in a steamship, in a steamboat that
They have all kinds of
called cotton up and down the Cooper River from Rome all the way to Alabama.
But when you think about
I found all that years ago. I went
ATMs have two
to
ATMs.
Alabama, somewhere over there to a library, and found these orders telling about him. So nobody knew anything about it. And we don't know. All we know is he came. That's all I know. I don't know when he came.
How did you do that? You have what you call a replenisher. And they have what you call a
He's a
set.
state legislator in Alabama.
We have a special key that you use, a special combination.
That store look good, man.
You get there, then you open it up, pull it out, like all the time. Put the needles in,
Don't start nothing when we done.
We need to do a work session all over again, so everybody can hear.
Run through it real quick.
Well, I don't go by the regulations. When I used to do it, just mainly keep it ATM operational, money down, and taking out deposits, putting it in and setting all maintain honesty. Deal with a lot. But it pays good though. That's how I am when I'm retired.
Just like my check.
You work your own hours.
Sitting on the ground. Mine was real low too. I was like, is this a budget?
How we get in the middle of it?
Oh man, between work and the fact that it's graduation weeks. Like it's not like this week or next week. It's weeks. Stop it. I can't even get up. You go to Moab. What? You're gonna have to watch it. This could be right in the middle of prayer. Do something, right? You're gonna have to watch it.
In the
beginning of the day, we were down. Well, you hadn't been here. Timeliness. Thank you, sir.
And you're able to walk like a quarter of a mile to get back, and so you get pictures from
I hope this isn't where they're rezoning my house to a strip mall.
They're gonna put a data.
I don't own it anyways. Mortgage company does. I got a rent to own.
So yesterday,
I need to get the for education.
so.
Great. Was Matt for that? Nice a shot. Everybody, even us?
No.
They had a vibe.
I'm gonna have some
So we said, we didn't get action the next day. I said, look,
Was it Freddie won the race because he got the smaller one?
we love America. We would both fly back.
That's why they told me to go in that corner.
How about the attorney?
If you're watching ESPN football late on a Saturday,
You're rolling tonight.
you know, it's cold and it's just
Ready to go.
It's a really cool park. And we love Larry.
Yes, sir, doing well. Good to see you.
Yeah. We
You hear when you retired,
we started our trip there. We went Colorado,
Yeah, and actually,
Pioneer, and then we went to
Talked
Jackson.
to me today.
And we did West Yellowstone, went through Yellowstone, and came up. We were gonna go.
Pete won't let me come to the meeting unless you know where I'm gonna go.
and then he just said, I'm out, right?
So that's where South Dakota State is. And so we came across, we did a little big.
But you know, I've been retired 20 years.
Mount Rushmore,
His standpoint is
We'll get
that we
rid
did
came
it.
back through, went to Deadwood, we didn't go through the Badlands. And then we ended up coming across and down and flew back.
Because in your account, you put up on the new one.
I was trying to look it up, miles that we had, was on a rental.
Last time we had a baseball game.
Calculated if you included
Yeah, I come out.
We lost. Thanks for asking.
distance to the airport.
It was all coaching,
It was just like
all coaching.
from Atlanta.
but
Massive.
the Dodgers lost to the Colts.
Absolutely.
So I don't know.
Oh, in buildings, the hotel room, right up the and the hotel room, this side of the glass.
So, Dodgers, I don't know.
Of course, at night.
No, I don't.
It's like you're supposed
Skip
to.
Tom, because
They were the two undefeated teams,
get the job when it's all said and done. And
but there's been games and I don't follow them.
give Ken some solutions, because
Oh,
you know,
yeah.
told him many months ago to move off that road, we could have had a head scene. So, we were going, if you saw this.
Well, that could have been.
So on the other side of the metal building, they're putting that they're gonna move everything that's
Okay.
on the lattice.
They're playing right now.
So Chad's gonna, I was just.
The Dodgers and Colts are
We're just
playing
not gonna connect there. He's got
the
to put it
15th
inside
right
the
now. Hold on. Let's go back over here.
Yeah, Monday.
Well, they're in the losers.
Yeah, it's gonna be.
They got to come back and play the Colts
Man,
again.
I don't think it'll be.
Yeah.
Some of them
So
got pictures there.
we stayed up till 2 o'clock. And then, had Saturday, had Sunday, Monday, and Tuesday morning, I got up to go down to.
Now, what is your relation to Jordan?
Jessup to do baseball.
Isn't his mom
They told me that.
She's a dean.
I
I think she's a dean.
Yeah. Cool.
I don't know how to tell myself.
And I didn't see them thing nice. One of my cousins first moved.
Yeah.
Some kind of stuff like that. We're gonna talk to him about that one right there. So the reality is, yeah, I'm like David said.
I didn't look at it. I
So,
just
well, Ken should be happy with the guy through the street. So they're essentially, I've seen that game. They paid into it.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Well, next week we had baseball games on Wednesday, and everybody was like, "Well, we want to go." It was like, you can make a decision. You can either come to your game, or you can go watch somebody else.
Replacing that lattice tower's gotta go. They can't put it wrong now.
It's in Gwinnett.
So the paper was wrong today. The paper said, oh, they changed it. No. So they did change it.
Matt would know.
He said, what's that?
Matt,
I asked him.
it would be. It's in Gwinnett.
It's in Gwinnett, yeah.
Yeah, it's in Gwinnett.
And I think Peppermint is on his plan. But yeah, that's been driven separate. So what we're saying, if that goes, he's got to put his phone out there.
I saw something about
That's on the tower.
the classifications.
Well, the Cartersville paper wrote, I read it today. So I thought Matty made a mistake, but they wrote.
Got it.
He was right.
So how you doing?
That's what I do, man. Put your name in there.
Working all day, every day?
No, I go in every day. And I still do a little bit. I mean, people that I've represented for 40 years or more, ask me to do something, but I'm not going to court anymore.
You see everybody see
I'd like to set a record tonight.
Court case.
If I was him, I'm there every day. I'd be
I represented an insurance company that
I just had to take an ethics class, like last week. I passed. No coming in the pledge. You're barely. Well, it's to be in rhythm. But I got through it. And one of the questions was about insurance companies giving different rates to different sections of cities. It wasn't asked people or not. Obviously, that's illegal. But they can basically say they higher rates for all.
I think if they can justify access within that geographic area,
Well, it's like,
they would be justified.
well, all I can remember is the fire department and the ISO rating, saying, hey, well, if your city or county has this radius or different
This is your book, man.
area covered,
You changed this custom last time?
then you can have lower rates.
I know that.
Our rates based off of,
Changed it.
when you said insurance, I'm thinking it's work, I know, property and casualty type insurance.
Made that motion for us? That's not good.
I paid my premium the other day, $2,900. Ellen's car, my car, and I've got granddaughter's car, and Ellen. Pickup truck, for four vehicles, $2,900.
Well, you know, you're probably, I'd give him what you, he's been doing this. The win. 5 cars. 2 like, 2 visitors. Side to side.
About that. About that.
Only one driver.
I got a contact about that.
I couldn't add up like that.
Somebody got it for me.
They just take it out of the
Got
back.
the raise.
So I still got 1952 Trump TR3.
Yeah, some kind of. He never got to make a living.
But I bet
But it is going fast.
that Trump, I had it,
And the time I was there, a lot of them were nice.
Goodness.
I had it 60 damn years.
Yeah.
And I've got
I didn't know that the city starts.
classic car.
$1,500.
They don't drive as much.
So they're more insured for,
City come a long, long way.
like, if something were to happen to them, sitting in the house or whatever.
I was glad to hear that.
Still aged. I can't keep up. I had to leave. I was at a, some honors night for Barrett. I said, I gotta go. This is a big deal. Gotta get out of here. CTAE awards. I have no clue what all that is.
Education.
Huh. That's probably it. Cause Aaron did a big honors night, CTAE, work-based learning is part of it. We have a work-based learning course.
Good evening. I'll call this meeting of the Cartersville City Council to order. If you'll please stand for our invocation and pledge.
Good evening, everyone. Let us bow our heads in a word of prayer. Our Father in heaven, we come for you this time to do the business of the city. Father, we ask for guidance and direction and civility as we discuss these topics and arrive to a mutual conclusions. Stand by us, Father. Guide us and direct us. It's in Jesus' name we praise. Amen.
Please join me in the pledge. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Just drink the roll, please.
Carrie Cog, Ward 1. Jay Stepp, Ward 2.
Here.
Kerry Ross, Ward 3.
Here.
Calvin Cooley, Ward 4.
Here.
Gary Fox, Ward 5.
Here.
Alyssa Cordell, Ward 6.
Here.
Thank you, Julia. I will make one simple note as to the absence of Councilwoman Hodge. Congratulations to her and her family. Her daughter graduated nursing school today, so we're proud of Mallory and glad they're off celebrating, and I know she'd be with us if it weren't such an important family event. So she's not here, but that's a pretty darn good reason in my book. So our first order of business is actually a much better reason than why I wasn't here last time out on vacation. First order of business is the approval of the council meeting minutes from our May 1st meeting. And you guys can make any adjustments to that if you need to. I wasn't here and quite frankly, I wasn't listening. So now would be the time to make any edits, and if there are none, a motion to approve is in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And motion carries unanimously. Ms. Drake, you're going to cover the item. We've got an appointment to the Alcohol Control Board, please.
Yes, sir. Chairman Rick Knapp's term is set to expire on June the 3rd. Mr. Knapp stated that he is willing to continue to serve as the mayor's appointee, and if reappointed, his term will expire June the 3rd of 2028.
Thank you very much, and thank you to Mr. Knapp. He is an original board member of the Alcohol Control Board and puts a lot of time and effort and leadership into that, so I appreciate his willingness to continue to serve. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Mr. Morgan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is a quick claim deed request for 19 Roving Road. That property was purchased as part of the first-time home buyers program. The applicant has fulfilled her obligation of 5 years ownership as set forth in the program. She's requesting a quick claim deed release at this time. This is a standard practice, and since the applicant has fulfilled her obligation, staff recommends your approval to authorize said release.
Absolutely. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Hardegree, if you'll get us started off with T25-03.
Yes, sir. This is an application by Erica Bazzi of APEC Imaging. The request is to modify section 20-25 2B of the electronic freestanding sign ordinance to add Charlie Harper Drive to the list of allowed streets for LED signs or electronic signs. Currently at the corner of West Avenue and Charlie Harper Drive, there's a convenience store under construction. Currently under the ordinance, they are allowed an LED sign along West Avenue. They're requesting this modification to put a LED sign on Charlie Harper Drive. This is for a gas pricing sign. As you know, most gas pricing signs are LED. They're controlled remotely, either by the owner or off-site by the fuel carrier. So it'd be a quick way for them to change pricing versus the manual way. At the Planning Commission meeting, Ms. Bazzi did not make the meeting in time. Planning Commission did review the application, and they did vote for denial on this without anyone there to represent the application.
Thank you. Any questions for David at this time? Thank you. We'll open up a public hearing for the text amendment 25-03. And if anybody would like to step forward and speak for or against, they may do so at this time. And seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for T25-03. Council, any questions or discussion needed on this item this evening? Seeing none, I will we'll move on. This will have a second public hearing and reading, and that'll be taken up for consideration our meeting on June the 2nd?
June 5th.
June the 5th. Thank you. Thank you. Next item, David, please. Z-2408.
Yeah, Z24-08, this is for rezoning on Center Road. The applicant, Starlight Homes Georgia LLC, this rezoning has been properly advertised and posted on site, and there doesn't appear to be any conflicts of interest. With this application, you heard it briefly back in December. This did start out in November with the Planning Commission. Upon review by the Planning Commission, they noted several items they'd like to see improved upon, including setbacks, driveway length, visitor parking, rental cap for these units. And what this project is it's located on a 78-acre tract approximately a 260 acre tract or 280 acre tract between Overlook Parkway and Center Road. There's two housing components to this. One is single family detached, which will be on the northern edge of that 78 acres adjacent to Center Road. And there'll be 70 units are being proposed for the single family. To the south, 113 townhomes are proposed with access directly to Overlook Parkway. Currently, there's no access between the two projects, meaning Overlook Parkway does not continue northward onto and making connection to Center Road. The applicant did take Planning Commission's recommendations to heart. They did go back and address that. They also addressed the traffic study that they provided with this. They added additional housing projects that are in the area, both in the city and in the county. Those additional calculations performed by the engineer did not change the outcome of that traffic engineering study. It's still recommended that there be a turn lane off Center Road into the single family development, that there be 2-lane access onto Center Road from that development, as well as 2-lane access onto Overlook Parkway for the townhomes. A couple of other minor points were included with that too, but nothing changed as a result of that. I would add too, I missed this in the work session, that there is a 10% rental cap that would be part of the HOA documents for this development. Again, the applicant is looking for a change in zoning from the current R20 to a planned development zoning to accommodate the two housing project proposals in that one zoning. And the applicants are here this evening for any questions you may have.
Thank you. Any questions for David at this time? Thank you, sir. At this time, I'll open up the public hearing for Z24-08. And if the applicant would like to speak, now's the time to do so. And for anybody that chooses to speak, if you would please, we need your name and your address so that our clerk can get it accurately into the minutes. So thank you.
Good evening. My name is Brian Mudderman with Starlight Homes. Our address is 3820 Mansell Road, Suite 300, Alpharetta 30022. Real quick, can we just get that other site, the site plan that we're contemplating up there? That one that was on the screen is what is currently allowed by right under the R20 zoning. You could put, I think, 315 units on the total 200 acres. So thank you for the...
I'm sorry, will you restate that? I didn't quite hear
So
you.
the site plan that was up there before shows the total acreage that we're looking to take the 78 acres out of. On that total acreage currently, by right, 315 single-family detached homes could go on that and would all be going out to Center Road as the way that one is laid out and engineered.
Okay.
So what we're looking to do is take a 78-acre portion of those 200 acres and develop it with 113 townhomes and 70 single-family detached homes. Quick, for those of you that aren't aware of who Starlight Homes is, just a quick recap. So we are the sister company to Ashton Woods Homes. Starlight and Ashton Woods are headquartered here in Atlanta. We were the 2023 Builder of the Year by Builder Magazine. Our fiscal year ends in May, so we're finishing up our fiscal 25, but for fiscal 24, which would have ended May 31 of 24, we had 148 communities across 8 states, which was about 8,900 closings. In Atlanta last year, we did about 1,286 closings, so about 1,300 closings. Even though we are the largest privately held home builder in the U.S., we kind of operate like a public company, so our financials are published on our website. You could go look at them right now, see all of our information. And I say that just to say that we are a financially stable organization able to support the HOA that would be in place and will be responsible for maintaining the community through the development phase until it's turned over to the residents. So tonight we're going to talk about the Center Road project. It's, as I said, 78-acre site. We are proposing that 54 acres of that remains green space and open space. So that is actually 69% of the site that will remain forested green space for here on out. It will be part and owned by the 2 HOAs that would govern the two portions of the site. That 69% is 3 times the acreage that's required by the ordinance. We're proposing a density of 2.3 units per acre. That's for both the single-family detached portion and the townhome portion. They both have the same density. And just for comparison, across Center Road, the Ponders Mountain community is about 2.6 units per acre. And Satterfield Commons down along Center Road to the west, which is a similar townhome community, that's even higher density, about 4.6. So we're well under that. Like I said, 113 two-story, 3-bedroom, 1-car garage townhomes, which is the same product that you see right now at Satterfield. And on the detached portion to be 73 and 4-bedroom, single-family detached, 2-car garage homes. So we did, as David mentioned, we did work through public participation and a lot of work with staff. We have made a lot of improvements to this plan from the first time we saw it. It's important to note staff did not oppose the zoning change, and we kind of looked at this whole plan as a way to step down density from a land use standpoint. So you have your 546 apartments along Overlook Parkway, stepping down to a for sale community of townhomes, and then of 113 units, and then stepping down again to 70 single-family detached. One thing I forgot to mention is this is a for sale community, so all the homes would be for sale. So we've addressed concerns, as David mentioned, driveway lengths, setbacks, on-street parking, rental caps, so forth. With regards to the driveway lengths, we have designed, it's actually that little typical lot layout that's at the bottom there. We've designed both sides with a 20-foot driveway back of sidewalk. There's also an additional 5-foot sidewalk and a 2-foot beauty strip, so that means you got 27 feet from the back of the curb to the front of the house, which will fit a F-250 crew cab, just to point that out. Both communities will, or the communities will have sidewalks on one side of the street, which is consistent with the other communities that are in the area. With regards to setbacks, we're not requesting any variances on the project. With regards to the on-street parking, both sides are going to be, as I mentioned, both sides will be governed by an HOA, which will state in the covenants that there is no on-street parking. On the townhome portion, that side is planned to be a gated and private community with private streets. Therefore, we will be able to enforce towing on that side. On the single-family detached side, those are proposed to be public streets. We would be able to send notices that you are not supposed to be in the street, but I think we are not actually legally allowed to tow homes on a public, or tow cars on a public street. One thing to point out, again, on the townhome side, is we do have 23 visitor parking spaces, which represents about 20% of the units that are there. It's important to note that the two are not connected. The two communities, the townhome community and the single-family detached community, are not connected. If they were connected, you have the potential to add about 650 some units would then have access to Center Road. They could, all those apartments, all those townhomes could go up and out to Center Road. The other thing to think about is if you connect those two communities, the issues of people speeding or people not paying attention to stop signs, so on and so forth, you're now bringing that into two residential communities, whereas they're currently designed, they're both dead ends. So you don't have that cut through traffic, which brings a lot of things that you don't want in your neighborhood where kids are running around, possibly playing with their friends in the street. The HOA covenants, as David mentioned, we did propose a cap on rental units, which would be a 10% cap. In addition to that, we are proposing language that says no single person or entity can own more than 5 units at any given time. And just to break that down for you, that would mean there would only be 11 townhomes at any time that would be able to be rented, and 7 single-family detached units at any time that would be able to be rental units. As regards to the traffic study, the first one we did was in 2023. That was based on 241 unit layout at the time. The current site plan, as I said, is 183 between the two. That's a 24% reduction in unit count from the first time we did the traffic study. So we took a lot of data, we took a lot of input from staff, a lot of input from our traffic engineers as well. We collected new traffic data in late January of this year, and we widened the scope, as David said, to pick up some other intersections along Center Road, as well as any of the new developments that have come since 2023. So those new traffic counts did capture on any of those new residential developments. That traffic study was reviewed by staff in February. Important to point out that the trip generation calculations did include the Merrill townhomes that are under construction on Center Road, as well as the Eastwoods Townhome project, which is up off of Smiley Ingram Road. It states that a turn lane is warranted or recommended for the entrance along Center Road, and the site would be designed accordingly. A left turn lane was not warranted, and they have no special recommendations for the entrance along Overlook Parkway, as it's obviously in the cul-de-sac there and would be a private and gated community. One really important thing to point out is when you look at the traffic study, they look at things as far as a build and no build condition. Based on their build and no build conditions, they show that the impact of our added site traffic from those 70 single-family detached homes would have minimal impact on traffic. It would not make any difference to whether it was a build or no build condition. And I really don't have anything else to add to it. I'm happy to answer any questions. Just thank you for the time.
I guess maybe I need a little education. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
But I don't look at traffic studies. I'm not an engineer, but how can you, I'm having a hard time understanding that if you add 70 homes to a road that it has no impact on the traffic.
Yeah, it's not that it has no impact on the traffic. How they look at it is the traffic along the road, the intersections are operating at certain levels of service. And what the report states is that the addition of these homes will not change the level of service at which they are currently operating.
Okay, thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Any other questions at this time?
So, a couple
Sure.
questions, clarification. Just on the townhome
Yes, sir.
section, so you have over 100 units?
We'd have 113 units, yes, sir.
113 units. So, Dave may be able to tell me, so I thought that over 100 units, we had to have 2 instances?
It's over 200.
Or it's over 200? Okay, so over 200, so we're fine with that. How about the private road? Is your HOA gonna be, is that road going to meet city specs, or is that going to be a private road that's gonna be maintained? Is it gonna be built to city specs, or how's that, like, can we get a fire truck in there? Are we able to turn a fire truck
Yes,
around?
it will be designed for that. In addition to your gated entrance, there'll be a Knox box so that fire department obviously has access to be able to get in there.
And also, they're front-loaded?
Yes, sir.
Would that be a variance then for front-loaded units, or not?
It would not be under the plan development. The plan development is based on the site plan. So if you approve this rezoning with that site plan, a variance would not be required.
Because I think right now is not, we have rear-loaded townhomes, is that correct?
Yes, under the townhome zoning, it's rear loaded with a rear alley access.
And remind me, these are 3-bedroom?
Yes, sir.
And
There's a rendering, so you can get an idea of what we're talking about.
I think I've got that. So, with school buses and all that you're gonna be able to have a school bus in this private road?
I think the way it would work is probably that's probably up to the school system, but I would imagine that the bus stop would be there in the cul-de-sac.
And same thing with city utilities, garbage truck, all that?
Yeah. They'll be able to get into it.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Yep, you're welcome.
We'll continue with the public hearing for Z2408. Anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against may do so at this time.
My name is Kathy Gunter. I live at 42 Autumn Canyon Path, Cartersville 30121 in Autumn Canyon subdivision. I'm opposed to the rezoning request. I have 3 pictures that I want to show to kind of explain really with pictures instead of words. Do we just?
And we have that. Give me 1 second.
So I'll tell you, the first picture is from Google Maps 2 years ago, coming out of our subdivision, and it's coming out of our subdivision is all trees. It's beautiful. And the second picture that they're gonna show is current, and that's taken coming out of the subdivision, the same angle. It's 103 acres of trees destroyed, our views destroyed, and countless wildlife displaced, all to put up 199 townhomes. And this was approved a while back, and I know you guys aren't talking about it, but I live on Center Road. So I know it's approved, I know it's going up, I know they bulldozed down all of our trees.
Well, technically, it was their trees that you were enjoying the view of.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
The city of Cartersville's trees.
I understand.
And then I'll just go on and you'll see the pictures. In the third picture, I'd like to point out how dense the housing is and will be on Center Road. There's Satterfield Commons, Everston Estates, Autumn Canyon, the new development across the street from Autumn Canyon, Ponder Mountain, and now this new one. And on the picture, you're gonna see where across from Ponder Mountain is where the new development is gonna go. And that's super close to 75. And it shows the single family homes lining up right next to 75. Just like Autumn Canyon does, our main street until it turns to go up the hill backs up to 75. So if that area is approved to be rezoned, they'll have to cut down more trees and it'll ruin our beautiful hillside, which we can see from our backyard. Also, Starlight Homes is telling you that these single family homes are targeting first-time home buyers. I went to the Planning Commission meetings and he didn't say it tonight, but these homes, the single family homes, they're targeting first-time home buyers. And I think that's sad for 3 reasons. Number one, the traffic noise from trucks and cars on I-75 will make these homes unlivable. I don't see how they can be outside and enjoy it with the trucks going by. Number two, per the packet Starlight Homes has, which is part of this packet, which I read, no plans to provide active youth amenities such as playgrounds for families with small children, a tennis, pickleball, basketball courts, a gazebo with picnic tables and grills, a dog park, or any amenities. And this is supposed to be for first-time home buyers. And thirdly, these homes are targeted to start in the low 400s, if I'm not mistaken. Could be 450, I'm not sure. I erred on the side of low 400s. That was presented at the November Planning Commission meeting. And my question is that a price that is affordable in Cartersville for first-time home buyers? I would think not. I don't know. It might be in Alpharetta, but I don't feel like it is here. So I'm just kind of reiterating things that have been said at the Planning Commission meeting. And I just feel like enough is enough. Please stop developing Center Road. And when they find those pictures,
yeah,
you'll be able to see
we'll
it.
move on with the hearing, but before this hearing is closed, we'll have those pictures, and we'd like to have you back up to reiterate what you'd like to there, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you for being here. Once again, Z24, put these glasses on so I can see what I'm doing. Z24-08, public hearing. Again, anybody wishing to step forward to speak for or against may do so at this time.
My name is Arthur Smith. I live at 25 Autumn Canyon Path, Southeast, Cartersville, Georgia, 30121. And I had to go along a lot with what Ms. Gunter has said, but I wanted to reiterate, and I'm glad they brought this picture back up to the other one because we've never had a planning meeting on the other one. The first meeting, property between the homes and townhomes was not developable, and he's stating that again today. There may be a walking trail on it, but that is all. Homes didn't have enough garage space and the parking deck was not big enough for 2 vehicles, but he was saying that they have made some adjustments to that. But the HOA will not allow parking on the street. That is unenforceable because Autumn Canyon goes through the same thing. We've been going through it for 10 years. People are not supposed to park on the street. They're not supposed to have the garage full of stuff and parking on the street. But the city does not have an ordinance against parking on the street, so we call them about having the car removed off the street, and they come out and say, we don't have an ordinance against it, you can park on the street. It's the HOA's problem. We try to do something about hauling the cars off or the trucks off of the street, and we have to pull them back because we're not allowed to pull them off of the city street. So it's an unenforceable issue. And there's on Center Road, there's already too many cars. I don't know how they do their analysis, but there's just too many cars on it already. And now there's another set of townhomes that are being put in across the street from our subdivision. There's already 3 to 4 developments that's been done since the first meeting that we had some time back on this, and there's cars coming in off of that, and there's talking about within a quarter of a mile, all of these subdivisions are pouring into Center Road, and if they get all the traffic, and I'm just imagining at least 2 vehicles per home or per townhome. And they were having hundreds of units that they're talking about adding on there. You double that by at least 2, and there's that many cars going to be pulling out in that quarter of a mile stretch of Center Road, either going down to Cartersville or going back up to the interstate connection. That's just too many cars to be on Center Road. And we've had, I don't know how many wrecks right there in front of our subdivision already. We've had cars that's run into each other. We've had cars run off the road and hit telephone poles because people drive down Center Road 50, 60 miles an hour, and the city don't have a license to radar speed control out on Center Road inside the city limits. So our hands is tied. Their hands is going to be tied too. And the infrastructure was not sufficient in the first meeting. There's not enough water pressure to put water into the homes on the first subdivision that was built up there right down the street to the right of going toward Cartersville, and they turned it down for that. But they said they can't get water over 600 feet elevation to the homes up on top of the hill. Well, they got homes all the way to the tip top of the hill, so I don't know how they come up with extra water pressure because they ain't put in no water lines. They hadn't changed the electrical lines, and we're all the time getting power outages now because a tree limb falls on the lines or somebody runs into a telephone pole and knocks the power out. And for the first 5 years that we lived in Autumn Canyon, we never had a power outage. So something's going on. The second, anyway, the review committee voted to deny that application in the first time. The second review was mostly the same issues, but some adjustments have been made according to the parking pad size and what have you. But the number of cars will be the same. Parking on the street, as I said, is still the same issue. It's unenforceable. And I've talked to the fire marshal when I was the HOA president about what do y'all do when you're trying to come into the subdivision and there's cars parked on both sides of the street. He said, oh, they ain't gonna stop us. We'll just drive over the cars and they can go have them fixed. Well, that's slowing them down to get to an emergency anyway. And we have had them to have to stop. and get somebody to move the cars off of the side of the street so they can get to an emergency up on the hill. That's another issue. The green space would be the same unless they decide to build the other plan that they pulled up. And it's a good possibility that they get this approved and they like it. They're going to come up with a way of building the other 300, 200 something homes. And then we've got another 1,000 cars pouring in on Center Road. It's just too many cars. From my house to Joe Frank Harris Road is 1 mile. And you pour thousands of cars in that little space for 1 mile, it's got to have an effect on the traffic. I don't care what the engineers come up with and how they worded it, but there's something that's wrong. I just don't think we need any more development on Center Road.
Thank you, sir. Have you got the photographs ready to go? If, Ms. Gunter, if you'd like to come up and kind of restate what you were saying earlier.
This first picture is from Google Maps 2 years ago, and it's coming out of our subdivision, and that's what we saw. And I've lived in my house 5 years now. So that's what we saw. And you can see where 75 is right along the road, right along that, our subdivision. And then the next picture was taken just a few days ago. Exact same angle, and even to the right, it's all cleared. So it's 103 acres cleared. Just drive up there. It's very sad. And then the third picture, what I'm pointing out here is you see Satterfield Commons, above it Everton Estates. Where the blue dot is Autumn Canyon subdivision. Across the street is where they're building, which is all cleared now. It used to be all trees. And then you see Ponder Mountain. Ponder Mountain subdivision is across the street from 75. So that all those subdivisions are right there, not including Carriage Hills. It wasn't in the picture, not including Hamilton Estates, which is just down Center Road. So there's 2 more subdivisions. The black underneath Center Road, there's a black, I used a black highlighter right there underneath Center Road. That's where the new homes are going in. That's where the single family homes are going in. They're going to back up right against 75 again. And we can see if they cut that hill and cut those trees down, we're gonna see that from our backyard. Over the interstate, we're gonna see those trees up high that they're missing. Another thing that I didn't say earlier, Ponder Mountain is doing phase 2 and phase 3. So we're gonna have even more homes coming out of Ponder Mountain as they put their next 2 phases in. So that's all just kind of an aerial view of all the trees. And if anything happens to the land behind our house, which Minnesota Mining owns, or LLC Minnesota, but it's a mining, if they come in there with bulldozers, I'm out of here. Because I back up to the woods, that's not part of this. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Forsyth, would you mind coming up here? I got a question for you as it relates to one of the comments made relative to water service and water pressure in this area.
Yes, sir.
I do know Mr. Smith's comments some years ago when there was, again, there's an elevation, there's only so much that our system can handle too. Are there areas out here that are being developed that are unserviceable or that they're experiencing lower than our standard water pressure?
No, sir, not currently. Our service elevation generally is 1,100 feet above mean sea level. However, we have changed that development regulation recently to allow developments above that if the pressure at the service connection is at least 40 pounds. The requirement is 20 pounds. We require, the national requirement is 20 pounds pressure. We require 40 at the service connection so that it may reach a second floor, you know, in that area. But to my knowledge, there's no location being developed that cannot be served
and
water.
Developments like this one or others that may or may not be happening along that corridor, a negative impact on the existing houses on water pressure, or is the capacity and the service there for it?
The capacity is very good on Center Road. That is what we call our high pressure zone. You'll see later where we're repairing a pump for that section. It's supplied from 2 different directions, both from Main Street and across, and from Center Road up across the interstate. And we have a 3 million gallon storage tank on Center Road, or just off Center Road on the other side of I-75.
Okay, thank you, sir. We'll continue with the hearing for Z24-08. Once again, anybody wishing to step forward, speak for or against may do so at this time.
Howdy.
Hey.
Brandon Hughes, 22 Autumn Canyon Path, Cartersville, 30121. Primarily against it, the development. It's nice to see that it's downsized some, but again, with all the development so fast on Center Road, I don't really believe we should be condensing all this construction in at one single time. Also, something that I just looked up on my phone, the typical starter home in America averages out at 170 grand a year. And if their price point is really 400, it's a pretty big discrepancy for starting families. Now, if not everybody's well off to do to make, 6 figures a year, which is about what you would need to make to afford those homes. So if you're already making that, you're not looking at a starter home. Just really short and sweet too, you take the trees out, the highway will be louder. My home actually backs up to 75, and when they came through a few years ago to trim the tree line back on the highway, I haven't gotten a decibel reader out there, but it's so much louder now. And if you take the trees out on the other side, it's also going to promote that sound as well. And it's just going to echo through that whole area, because you got the hill, a hill, and a hill. So that's my concern, along with just lopping in for the school. I grew up in an overcrowded system in Cherokee County and Woodstock. I'd hate to see that start happening here with all these developments. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to make comment on Z24-08? And I guess if you come on up here, we'll let you say one other thing.
I live across the street from the houses that backs up to the I-75, but the sound from the traffic on 75 hits the house on the side of me, the house behind me, the house on the other side of me, and bounces back off of the other house on this side of me, and it's constant all the time, a rotating sound of cars and trucks and horns blowing. You can't get away from it. It's like I live 5 foot off of the expressway, because it's the constant. The only time it dies down is when there's an accident on the highway and traffic stops, and then you wonder what in the world happened.
Thank you, sir. Z24-08. Anybody else like to make comment, or would the applicant like to have a closing statement of any kind? I'd give you that opportunity.
I would just like to add that I know there's been some concern about the parking. Just to reiterate that on the single-family detached side, the 70 homes off of Center Road, they are designed to have a 2-car garage, and again, the driveway will be 27 feet from back of curb, so there are 2 cars that could fit in the driveway as well, so a total of 4 cars that could be accommodated. Also, would like to add the question about the utilities. We've had several meetings with the water department and have confirmed that we will obviously have to meet pressure requirements based on where how topo and elevation works on the site. So we've worked through that. And on the south side, on the townhome portion, we actually will have to install a pump station to be able to service that side due to sewer service in the area. So we have had all those conversations and are working through that with the water department.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Anyone else for Z24-08? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing for Z24-08. We will have another public hearing at our meeting on June the 5th, and then council will take it up for consideration. We are going to move along. The next two items on the agenda are going to be combined into one since they both involve surplus equipment from the city. Mr. Morgan.
Yes, yes, sir, Mr. Mayor and Council. This is a request to deem as surplus a list of equipment from vehicles from different departments. We're requesting approval to sell these surplus items on gov deals.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
And both those items are approved unanimously. Mr. Wilson.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor, Council, good evening. Our item is community rating system. City of Cartersville participates in the community rating system, which is referred to as CRS, to qualify for reduced flood insurance for our residents and businesses within the city limits. We're requesting mayor's signature to our verification application. This form has to be provided to our next 5-year cycle that will, in our site visit audit that's going to occur next week. So we request a mayor's signature to this document.
Thank you for that. Any questions? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Next item for you, please, Wade.
Yes, sir. The next item is our project framework agreement with Georgia Department of Transportation concerning the Mission Road West Cherokee Avenue sidewalk improvement, which on this slide here is the phase 1, so it's the top portion. It goes from Charles Street to the reserve at Pettit Creek sidewalk. It'll be tying into it. This project framework agreement is basically outlines the agreement between the city and GDOT. GDOT is through this Transportation Alternative Program grant, or TAP grant, we'll be doing an 80-20 match, so they'll be providing 80% of the funding, and the city of Cartersville will be required to provide 20%. We estimate that to be $280,000 that the city will be responsible for. This is for the preliminary engineering, so let me make sure you understand that's actually for the design of it. We recommend approval of this PFA, and this is will be provided through, funding will be provided for SPLOST on this.
Thank you. Any questions for Wade on this item? Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, Wade. Ms. Reed, you're up next.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I have before you a renewal of our annual accreditation, our memorandum of agreement with the Georgia Department of Community Affairs. This is our 38th year as an accredited Main Street community and our 5th year as a Georgia Exceptional Main Street community.
Outstanding. Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. McKee.
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. The first item that we have before you, the Electric Department is requesting approval of an electrical interconnection and power exchange agreement between the city and Beauflor, USA for a solar system installed in the customer's facility at 1 Beauflor Way, White, Georgia. And this has, the agreement's been reviewed by Archer and Lovell, and we do request, or we do recommend approval of this agreement.
Ugh, Archer and Lovell.
I'm Archer and he's Lovell.
Okay. Well, we could handle that then. All right, thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. I had to say something because we're about 45 minutes into a meeting. I don't know that you've ever sat in one of these meetings and been quiet for 45 minutes. I had to get you to talk.
It's not ever happened before.
I don't think so. Next item, please, Tom.
Yes, the second item, very similar. The Electric Department requests approval of an electrical interconnection and power exchange agreement between the city and Sheet Metal Components. This for a solar system installed in that customer's facility at 84 Xenia Drive here in Cartersville. Again, reviewed by Archer and Lovell, and we again recommend this for approval.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously.
I have one question, just out of curiosity. So I know that these are two industrial, commercial customers.
Yes, sir.
And I know we usually see residential.
Mhm.
So are we starting to see an uptick in commercial and residential going into solar too, or are these two special?
Recently, I would say yes. In the past year, we've had more commercial applications than we have residential applications. I think probably driven by different forces. We've talked to each applicant as they've kind of come along to understand what they're looking for and why they're pursuing solar, and they're kind of all for differing reasons. But yes, in the past year, it's been more commercial than residential.
Thanks.
Yep, thank you.
Thank you, Tom. Visitor Center janitorial contract.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is a request to enter into a contract with All Clean Janitorial to service the inside of the Visitor Center. We're requesting your approval for this contract.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. As Mr. Forsyth makes his way up, Chair will entertain a motion to add 2 items to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
2 items added. Good evening, Sydney. How are you?
Good evening, sir. Very well.
Why don't we go through the ones that are on the agenda that you have, and then we'll do the 2 added ones.
Yes, sir. The first item is a pump repair. As you can see on the screen there, is for the Center Road Booster Pump Station, as previously mentioned. This is a repair by Cornerstone H2O for $11,900. We looked at a replacement for this, is $16,250, but carries the exact same warranty with a much longer lead time on it. And in our experience, repair and rebuild of these is just as good as a new one. So I recommend that for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Sydney.
Yes, sir. The Pioneer Trail water main replacement. This is a capital replacement project for our small galvanized water lines, and this one happens to be on the high pressure system, which is a dangerous combination of old galvanized lines and 140 psi water. Approximately 8,160 feet of small diameter galvanized mains to be replaced with 8 and 6 inch water lines, including 17 fire hydrants, which don't currently exist on that parcel or that location. The low bidder, we got 12 bids on this project. The low bidder was $1,348,447.50 by Smith Pipeline Incorporated, and recommend that for your approval as well.
Thank you. Any questions for Sydney on this? If not, a motion's in order.
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Continue on, please.
Yes, sir. This is the city owns a 500-acre farm on Wade Road in Taylorsville for biosolids land application. We recently cleared approximately 300 acres of trees off that location to increase the amount of land available for biosolids land application. And you can see on the screen there's one parcel at 151 Wade Road that kind of juts into the city's property. We tried to leave him a buffer around his property. Unfortunately, the pine beetles have gotten into those trees, and there's approximately 150 trees there. We have been in communication with Mr. Dobbs, who owns that property, and he is agreeable to the city removing the trees on the city's side of his property line there. We got bids on that project, with the low bid being AJ's Tree Service and Landscaping for $13,500. I recommend that for your approval.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Make a motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. First added item, Sydney, relative to the insertion valve installation.
Yes, sir. On Tuesday, 2 days ago, we experienced a large water main break on near 850 Joe Frank Harris Parkway. It was running about 800 gallons a minute for approximately 24 hours. In order to isolate that section with the currently installed valves, would have put several hundred customers out of water for several hours. So we chose rather to install a valve on a live main just upstream of here, so that we would only have 10 commercial customers out of service, and we were able to do that after working hours. So this is a permanently installed valve. It's there for our use now in a more convenient location. and that was done by Consolidated Pipe and Supply Company for $18,695. I recommend that for your approval as well.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Second added item is relative to the Water Pollution Control Plant contract amendment.
Yes, sir. This is amendment number 1. There will be future amendments. Currently, the CMAR, our construction manager at risk, Archer Western, is under contract for pre-construction services. We are now moving into the phase 2, or the actual construction services. You've already approved the first guaranteed maximum price for that work package about a month ago. In order to move into the construction phase, we need an amendment to that construction contract. This does not add any cost. It's merely a negotiated contract for beginning the construction. I recommend it for your approval. It has been approved by Archer and Lovell as well.
Thank you. Keep rolling those dice. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
I know the company. What's the name of the company that you're dealing with?
Archer Western Construction.
Archer what?
Archer Western Construction.
So there's a conflict of interest.
Actually, I checked into it, and that company is very wealthy. There's never been an Archer wealthy that I'm so it's no relation.
I believe everybody voted on that last one in the midst of that, did we not? That motion carries unanimously. That's about the water, not about the Archer financial situation. Thank you. Michael Dixon, you're up next, sir.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. The gas system is requesting the purchase of 2 Lincoln gasoline-driven welding machines to replace current ones that are in need of repair. We received 3 quotes for the welding machines at ADF Welding and Medical Incorporated, provided the lowest quote of $16,915.67. It's a budgeted item. Council's approval to accept this quote is recommended.
Thank you. Questions, comments, or motions?
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Next item, please, Michael.
Yes, sir. We're also requesting to purchase 1,900 feet of steel 6-inch pipe for a loop feed for the Highland 75 Park. 3 bids were requested, but only 2 bids were submitted. Irby Utilities of Kennesaw submitted the low bid of $30,020. This is a budgeted item, and council's approved to accept this bid as recommended.
Thank you. Any questions? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Bagley, you are up next.
Yes, sir. Good evening. This is a request for the approval of the annual renewal with Wise Stamp, which is our centralized email signature management platform with Microsoft Outlook. Platform ensures consistent digital identity in conjunction with IT and HR data across all departments for the city, as well as also gives us another communication tool. The total for this is $8,016.
Thank you. Any discussion? If not, a motion's in order.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you. Mr. Archer.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. On March 18th, 2025, the City of Cartersville released a request for proposals related to the Dellinger Park softball field stadium seating for fields 1 and 2. The 2 bid proposals for the RFP were received and opened on April 17th. Neither of those bid proposals met the requirements presented in the RFP. At this time, we are requesting approval of the rejection of all bids as allowed in Georgia Code 32-4-118 and subsequently cancel the RFP. Staff recommends approval.
Thank you. Any discussion on that? My question, did you get legal advice from him before you?
Reviewed by Archer and Lovell.
That was Lovell that did that.
Yeah, it was.
Oh, good. I feel much better about it. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Thank you, David. Mr. Morgan.
Yes, sir, Mr. Mayor. This is a request or a proposed resolution in support of the 2025 Big Rag Bicycle event scheduled for Sunday, June 1st, 2025. Sundays are typically excluded from permitted hours, however, pursuant to City Code Section 4-106G2, the mayor and city council may authorize alternative hours for alcohol consumption in public areas by resolution. In anticipation of the event's tourism and economic impact, we're recommending temporarily extending the downtown entertainment zone hours to include Sunday, June 1st, 2025, from 11 a.m. to 10 p.m. This was crafted by Archer Lovell.
Thank you. And I appreciate, Gary, I'll let you go ahead and comment on this if you want to.
Well, this was something that I had requested, and I appreciate y'all supporting this. This is a big event that's coming to town. It's the first time it's been here since 2006. So I hope everybody gets out and gets to see all the folks downtown around 3 o'clock on Sunday, June 1st.
And I will say this is crafted to be a once in a blue moon type of occurrence. It may not ever happen again in regards to this particular resolution, and this resolution does not open the door for other events, nor is it going to be a catalyst for this being commonplace. This is specifically to handle a statewide event that's going to have a tremendous positive impact, not just on that day, but in weeks, months, years to come, as the benefits of tourism and having events like this through our community happen. So, any other comment or questions? If not, Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Now to the stage. Tom Reinhardt.
Yes, it is a Tom Reinhardt show. My last official meeting, yes, finance people do have a sense of humor. Honorable Mayor and Council, the resolution before you is for a one Georgia Fund, one account resolution. It is to change or add U.S. bank officials to the resolution in order for them to withdraw certain funds from Georgia Fund 1, that is now the account that is now holding the 2018 Water and Sewer Fund bond issues. And in order to do that, they needed to be added as an additional authorized representative of the participant, and this will grant them the authority to process withdrawals that I've already submitted to them. I recommend approval for the resolution to be amended as presented.
Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor indicate by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries unanimously. Give us that financial report. Tell us how good shape you're leaving us in.
You see it on the board. Everything's in the black. I'm leaving you with a good financial position. So, any questions? And by the way, you have my report in front of you.
I mean, where's this been for the last few years?
I was told by certain people that I couldn't do this, but the last couple of nights I've done it, so that's all I can say.
He's not here.
Thank you. Any questions?
Just a comment, and I've said it a few times, and I'll say it again. Tom, thank you for your service to the city. Thank you for your leadership, for the positive impact that you've had on our city, and for bringing a level of professionalism and leadership into that position. And
I'm not so sure the professionalism is.
Yeah, as well as you tried to destroy that in the last 5 minutes, but congratulations.
Thank you. Just to let the council, just to let the mayor and council know, I do appreciate you giving me the chance, or the, I think I lost my words, but being able to serve the city in this capacity for the last 16, almost 17 years. Again, I do appreciate your vote of confidence in me, and I appreciate everything you've done for me.
Happy trails, all the best, and just know we have these lunches every year. We expect to see you back here when you're not traveling.
Maybe, maybe not. And I will pick up my mess when.
No, you're fine.
No, I have to have refill, so yeah. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you very much, Tom. I know it's been a long night, but and it's hard to follow that up with something. It put us all in a good mood, but I am going to end this with this. I'm a little bit angry. I'm a little bit upset, and I want to share it. The city has The taxpayers wanted a quiet zone. Our former councilperson Diane Tate worked tirelessly on for quiet zones for years. We, as a council, previous councils and this one have, and our taxpayers put into money, splost dollars to pay for a quiet zone. And March-ish of last year, we fully paid for that quiet zone that we were told was going to be done early this year. Through no fault of the city. As a matter of fact, Stephen Foy and Wade Wilson and really everybody in the city has made it a priority to make sure that when CSX required something, that we got that done and kept the ball in their court. And I applaud the city for doing that. Towards the end of last year, we were delayed for whatever reasons, and CSX said it would happen in quarter number 2 of this year. And we got word earlier this week through a letter that it was going to be delayed again. Again, no fault of the city, and some of them are related to Helene and other repairs that need to be had. And while we're not shortchanging that, there's been plenty of time for CSX to either have other contractors, in my opinion, or to have somebody come do this work. To me, it's an insult to the taxpayers of this city to fund something a year and have to still wait for it with very little to a good explanation in my mind. Dan sent a letter to council, I think earlier this week, copied State Representative Gamble on it. I forwarded that information to our local DOT Commissioner Jeff Lewis and said he was going to work with it. I know that the CSX folks are aware of the correspondence back and forth, but I think we owe it to the community to say, you know, when you sit there and go, where's the quiet zone? We keep hearing there's a quiet zone. It's not on us, and it's in CSX's corner. So I think it's important for people to know that this council and that this city has done everything we can to get this project done, and behind us. And so I wanted to share those comments publicly. So thank you for indulging me on a night where we go a little bit longer than we used to, but better than most other places. So that being said, go ahead.
Baseball? You want to say something about baseball?
Cartersville boys play in the state championship next Wednesday at 5 o'clock, doubleheader at Coolray Field. And they'll play Blessed Trinity, and we wish them certainly all the best. Been a great year, regardless of what happens on Wednesday, but let's hope to hang another state championship, something on that wall out there. Well done. Anyone else? Chair will entertain a motion.
So moved.
State gold.